Hello and welcome to We Talk Boxing. Now this is just an update in regards to the light heavyweight clash that took place on the weekend between Joshua Buatsi versus Craig the Spider Richards. Now this was a WBA world title eliminator fight where the winner should fight Dimitri Bivol. Overall, I thought it was a very good, solid performance by both men, especially Buatsi, who dominated the early rounds, keeping his man at bay and landing with some big, vicious shots and good combinations as well, which again puzzled Richards at times, and Richards didn't really know what to do, and his work rate had slowed. They weren't up until about the 7th, 8th round where Richards started to increase his workload a little bit more. And then the 9th round started to land some big shots on Buatsi and some big uppercuts as well, which again kind of shook and hurt Buatsi. But again, it proved, this proved to just not be enough really, because the earlier rounds had kind of led him by and Buatsi had kind of already won those, and it just wasn't enough, and Buatsi got the victory, unanimous victory by the way, with the scorecards of 116 over 112, and obviously for two judges it was 115 over 113 as well, which was about right, to be fair. But yeah, it was a good solid performance. I thought Buatsi did very, very well, considering it was his first big clash against another fellow Brit, which he hasn't really experienced before. So I think this would do him, set him in good stead for future fights. Where I'd like to see him go now, potentially, would maybe to fight against some other fellow Brits, such as Callum Johnson or potentially Anthony Yard, which I think would be very good fights for him, which will give him some good experience, especially in big fights as well. And I think that's kind of what he lacks now, against good opponents, but in big fights. And I think he needs a couple more, maybe before he challenges Dimitri Bivol or Beterbiev, I can't even say his name, for their titles really. For Richards, I felt he did very well. I felt as if he would have started a lot earlier, put a bit more pressure on Buatsi. We probably would be sitting here and be talking about the total opposite, really. But he's been in two big fights now. One against Bivol, where he performed well, just again didn't do enough at times. And in this fight, again came on. Didn't do much in the first part of the fight, but came on very strong in towards the end. But again, it just wasn't enough. So he might have to go back to the drawing board and maybe work on a few things. But there are some still good fights. There are some good fights out there for him still. So I'll be intrigued to kind of watch his next performances really, as long as he puts things in the right place. But like I said, it was just an update, my thoughts. But please subscribe and like and comment as well below. Where do you think both men go? And how did you feel the fight went?